Alright, let's talk about Y2K, the horror comedy starring Rachel Zegler. It's her first big role where she's the main draw, and well, let's just say the box office numbers are not pretty. The movie opened with a measly $2.1 million, and in its second weekend it plunged by a brutal 67%, raking in only $684,957. For some context, a re-release of White Christmas, a movie from 1954, made nearly double that with fewer screens. Ouch. Now let's not sugarcoat it. This is bad. And honestly, it's kind of fascinating because Y2K is more than just another movie. Hollywood has been positioning her as the next big thing. But so far, her track record is shaky. I mean, West Side Story, a Spielberg project no less, flopped. Shazam. Fury of the Gods tanked, and her role in The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, couldn't save it from being the lowest grossing entry in that franchise. So, is this just bad luck, or is there something deeper going on here? Let's consider the elephant in the room. Rachel Zegler herself. Ever since she was cast as Snow White, she's been embroiled in controversy. She made waves early on, implying her casting was controversial, it really wasn't, and then doubled down by criticizing the original Disney film. Remember when she called it sexist and compared Snow White's prince to a stalker? Yeah, not the best way to endear yourself to Disney fans. Then during the Snow White press tour, she got political, made some nice and bold statements, and alienated a good chunk of the public. One of her most infamous lines, "May Trump and his supporters never know peace." People were furious, and the backlash forced her to issue an apology, though whether it was sincere or just PR damage control is up for debate. And now, with the new Snow White trailer sitting at a 96.2% dislike-to-like ratio on YouTube, it seems the public has had enough. It's hard not to wonder, did all this drama sink Y2K before it even had a chance? But let's get back to the movie itself. Y2K was directed by Kyle Mooney. Yes, the guy from SNL. It's set on New Year's Eve in 1999 and follows two teens who crash a party and end up in a fight for their lives. Rachel Zegler stars as Laura, alongside Jaden Martell from It and Julian Dennison from Deadpool 2. The cast even includes Alicia Silverstone and, wait for it, Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit. It's produced by Jonah Hill, so there was some potential here. Yet critics weren't kind. The Rotten Tomatoes score is sitting at 45%, with one critic calling it a genuine disaster. Richard Roper said, "Like a slow-loading image on a home computer in the late 1990s, the payoff isn't worth the wait." And while some, like Valerie Complex, praised its nostalgic take on the Y2K era, the overall reception has been lukewarm at best. With Y2K heading to streaming soon, probably on December 24th, maybe it'll find a second life, or maybe it'll just quietly fade into the digital void. Either way, this raises bigger questions about Rachel Zegler's trajectory. Is she just caught in a series of unfortunate projects, or is her reputation becoming too much of a liability? What do you think? Is all this Snow White drama to blame for Y2K's flop, or was it doomed from the start? Let me know in the comments, and I'd really appreciate it if you give me a subscribe. And hey, if you've seen the movie, tell us if it's worth a watch, or at least a rental.